In this video, I'm going to acclimatize you to the frustrating world of ascending generals in Evony. Let's start out with the basics. What is Ascension? Ascension is a way to increase the star levels of generals beyond the first 5 stars. Ascending a general to stars beyond the 5th will increase the stats of the general and also unlock upgrades to the general's primary skill. Ascension stars will appear as red stars rather than the lower quality golden ones. A general with a single red star is considered to be a 6-star general, as it has the 5 golden stars plus an additional 1 red star. While starring generals to the first 5 stars was a simple button press if you had the medals, gold, and required general level, Ascension is a 5-step process per star increase. Each individual Ascension upgrade moves you a step toward the next star. Upon completion of the 5-step process, your general will be ascended to the next star. While the first 4 steps in ascending will cost the same amount each time, the final step is 3.5 times more costly than each of the other steps. Let's talk about that cost now. Requirements for Ascension. Ascending a general will require Blood of Ares and fragments of the general you are ascending. Every star level upgrade will increase the amount of Blood of Ares required for the previous star. The first red star costs 620 blood, the second costs 750, the third 890, the fourth 1070, and the fifth is 1250. In total, 10 stars will consume a total of 4,580 Blood of Ares per general. In addition to the increasing blood cost, each star will require an additional 30 fragments in comparison to the last. Ascending from 5 stars to 6 stars will require a total of 30 fragments, which is equivalent to a full copy of that general. Ascending from star 6 to star 7 will require 2 copies of that general. Star 7 to star 8 will require 3 copies, and so on. To fully star a general to 10 stars will require the equivalent of 15 copies of that specific general. You can obtain some general fragments through relics and events. Other fragments can be obtained through the Great General Chest. However, the most common source of fragments will be from perfectly dismissing extra copies of the general. You can perfectly dismiss by going to that extra general, clicking the broken red helmet at the top right, and choosing to pay 10,000 gems to perfectly dismiss. Before we talk about priorities, I wanted to share some quick news. If you spend on the game, don't skip this, you'll thank me later. A few of the Evony approved payment facilitators have reduced their discounts. The current best platform to use for discounts is APTOIDE. They approached me a month or 2 ago to offer Miser community members a discount code, and that information was shared in the Discord, and it's been widely used since then. I'll very quickly summarize the information for those who are interested, and then on to the rest of the video. First, APTOIDE is region-free, unlike other providers. This means you can use it in any country in the world. Some of the other discount services I've advertised were great, but they had the limitations of only being available in certain regions. APTOIDE also currently offers the highest discounts, and they are completely legitimate. This is currently only available to Android users, but they mentioned that an iPhone version of the app is in development. For now, iPhone users need to use an Android emulator to access the discount. APTOIDE's payment service runs like a cashback program. A regular user would normally get up to 20% cashback to use on future purchases. When you use the Miser community code, this will boost the cashback permanently by an additional 5% up to 25% cashback. For example, if you spend $100 in Evony, you'll immediately be able to spend up to an additional $25 from the cashback provided. On certain days of the month, APTOIDE will even increase this cashback. I've been told by APTOIDE that on April 7th, there will be an extra 10%, meaning you can get up to 35% cash back. Then on April 22nd and 23rd, there will be an extra 5% cash back, which means up to 30%. For installation and more details, check out the pinned comment or video description. It's super easy to set up and use. Now let's talk about making decisions when it comes to ascending generals. With the cost of Ascension so incredibly high, it's important to talk about priorities. First, be realistic. Blood of Ares is difficult to obtain. Copies of premium generals can also be difficult to obtain. While a 10-star general is amazing to have, spending blood on many 6-star generals is a whole lot more cost effective. Duty officers, as an example, have excellent defensive bonuses worth obtaining, and these should be prioritized over PvP generals. Wall generals tend to also be worth early ascension. Let's say you do actually have 15 copies of your desired ground general. The 4,580 blood to get to 10 stars for that one general could have been used to get 7 generals to 6 stars instead. To illustrate this, let's compare the brand new high-quality premium ground general Aurelian. Aurelian would receive the following attribute increases and skill upgrades to ground troops from being ascended to 10 stars. 15% ground attack, 65% ground defense, 65% ground HP, 8% march size, and plus 50 to each of the attributes. Let's compare these buffs to upgrading 6 duty officers and a wall general, each to 1 star. I'll use Guanriol, John I, Oleg, Yulji, Toyotomi, Menshikov, and Dewey for this comparison. All these duty officers are tavern obtainable, and Dewey can be obtained from the tavern general chest. 60% range defense, 30% ranged HP, 60% siege defense, 30% siege HP, 50% ground defense, 20% ground HP, 85% cavalry defense, 40% cavalry HP. While the first shows offensive buffs that will be applied in the limited circumstance of your ground troops marching at an enemy, the other defensive in-city buffs apply to all troops at home when defending. It's a significant difference considering that they cost the same amount. In terms of priority, I'd recommend working on your duty officers first to obtain the in-city buffs before really focusing real effort on offensive PvP generals. Let's get into a real example of ascending. I've been saving Blood of Ares since the start of Keep 40, and without purchasing, it's been slow. I've got a total of just under 2,400 right now. That's enough to get 3 generals to the 6 star and a few steps into a 4th general. You really only unlock the benefits that come with Ascension by completing a full star, so there's no gain in going a few steps in without completing the star. The Trial of Knights event is on right now, where spending Blood of Ares awards me points that I can use to obtain game items. Ideally, you would not ascend a general when this event is not active to avoid missing out on rewards. I'm looking at purchasing a copy of Elise. To get her, I need 240 points, so I don't need to use all of my Blood of Ares right now to get what I want. I could use excess points to purchase tokens, other generals and items, or even more Blood of Ares for future ascending. If I hadn't been slacking for so long, I'd have participated in each event to do the bare minimum required to obtain what I want, but since I'm doing this video, I'm instead going to ascend 3 generals to 1 star. I've taken stock of the generals I am looking to ascend, and each plus sign next to their name is the number of copies of that general I have available. Clearly, I have far more generals prepared for Ascension than I have blood to use. The buffs below each name indicate what I would gain from a single full star of Ascension. After some consideration, I decided that I'll upgrade Toyotomi, Menshikov, and George Dewey. I'll get some minor stat boosts to George Dewey on the wall, with some slight buffs to mounted troops. The 15% defense on Toyotomi and Menshikov are across all troops, and while defense isn't my favorite stat on all troop types, it's not a bad thing to have either. Next Blood of Ares spending event, I'll work on some of the other duty officers. To ascend, I select the general and click Enhance. With a general already at 5 stars, I'll have the Ascend button available. Now it's just a simple matter of clicking through the steps to get that red star. I'll follow the same process for the other generals that I'm ascending, and my points will be updated in the Trial of Knights, allowing me to redeem them for rewards. I hope that this video on Ascension has been useful to you. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting the like button and checking out other videos on the Miser's Guide to Evony. I'll see you in the next video.